Hello Drive Radio fans, Richard Rush here with John Rush behind the camera, and this is the long review for the 2014 Subaru Crosstrek Hybrid. This is the hybrid model of this car. Comes with the standard Boxer engine with the hybrid system. This car, as it sits right now, as we tested it, $30,000, I think just about, I think it's the $30,250 range. Obviously with options, which we don't get into because really options on a car are your personal preference. Whatever you want to do to a car, do to it. You can add as much or as little to a car as you want nowadays. That's the benefit of not only living in America, but just the world that we live in today. So take full advantage of that. But with that being said, we'll get into the details. This car, I was impressed with to an extent. I really enjoyed it, driving it. When people, especially in Colorado, you drive a Subaru, they think you're living Boulder because these cars do run extremely well at our altitude. This car does have off-road capability, all-wheel drive, the symmetrical, however Subaru says that, symmetrical all-wheel drive. It's cool because you can watch, and we'll show you on the interior portion, you can watch how the symmetrical all-wheel drive works if you're off-road. But overall, really like this car. Have a soon-to-be family member who's looking at doing some Subarus. They've looked at this car, looked at some Outbacks, some Foresters, really enjoyed it fully. Trunk space, which we'll show you in a little bit, you lose, as my dad mentioned, you lose about a cubic foot with the hybrid model, and that's the downside to it. And it looks from the kind of the side angle you're on right now that there's not a lot of space in the trunk. There's a decent amount. It goes deeper than you think. We'll show that here in a second. Real quick before we head into the driving portion, our biggest complaint with this car is the hybrid system itself. It just doesn't feel as tuned, you could say, as the other systems we've driven. We've driven pretty much every manufacturer that has given us a car to review. We've driven a test drive of those: Toyota, Lexus. We've driven Ram, the Chrysler hybrid systems. And overall, this system just feels clunky. It almost feels like, to me, this is my personal opinion, a clunkier of the version of the stop-start system, and you lose the trunk space with that. It does help you get great miles per gallon. We averaged about 32, 33 miles per gallon. So that is my only complaint with this car. Otherwise, was great, nice interior. But with that being said, let's head to the driving portion. All right, fans, we're on the driving portion of the review. We're going to show you some of the interior features as we get along. We're also going to try and get this car to kind of do what we've talked about, which is kind of get it to start and stop when you come to a stop. We'll see if it cooperates. It's a little bit, it's a not too cool of a day, but it's a day that's going to be finicky for us to do some stuff. So as we start driving here, and as you can see, I don't know if you can get that, Dad, as you can see, it tells you when the car's using your battery, when it's using the engine. And if I put any power, as you can see, the car does kick on, but once you get up to any speed at all, the car will shut the battery off, as you can see. So we're going to kind of come to a stop right here and see if the car has shut off now. We have the windows down, so as I release the brake, I'm going to kind of be quiet and listen for it. And so it's hard to hear and hard to tell, and you may not have been able to, but it's just a very clunky start to come off the line when you start it. Not that the engine is made bad or the hybrid system is bad, just how they interact with each other. But overall, really did enjoy this car. Smoothness wise was what you would expect from a Subaru. Off-road capability, we didn't get to take it to a ton of different places, but we know what Subaru is capable of. Overall, really liked the interior, and I know some of you have not liked when I kind of ask my dad's opinion, but Dad, what did you feel about the driving portion? How did you feel this car drove?
Yeah, this car drives well, and it's typical Subaru. That part of it isn't any different. So the hybrid drive on this car versus a non-hybrid version, basically the same. So if you're familiar with what Subaru's done, which by the way, their quality and everything they've done in the past 5 years has just been way better than it ever was before. Not that it was bad ever, but it has improved dramatically. You can read some of that in some of the written reviews that I've got on our website. But no, I like driving the car. It's a very good car for the dollars. The value, as you talked about earlier, $30,000. Makes for a really nice car. They do have some clunky things about them that I don't like. Subaru's, head, their deck, kind of how they do some of their audio, etc. I wish they would come into the new generation of technology. I'm not going to talk about that a lot because, again, as Richard said, you need to get in a car, drive it. Some of that stuff's important to some people, not to others. Would it keep me from buying a car? Absolutely not. But anyways, that's my 2 cents worth.
Exactly, and I feel the same way. So that being said, we're going to head to the interior slash rear portion. Stay tuned. All right, fans, we're here on the interior slash rear portion of the review. Just to show you how much space it does have, it does come with the privacy cover, but as you kind of lift this up, you can see I'm kind of putting my hand back, and it has a basically, and I'm average height, it has a basically an arm's reach a distance. Once again, the battery pack is underneath here, and actually, I'll kind of show you if I can lift up here. You can actually see the battery pack where it's at, the silver. This is the top covering of the battery pack, and there's a little bit of storage underneath here to kind of throw some extra stuff. It's meant for the jack, but as you can see, this car does lack a little bit of trunk space with the battery pack, but nothing that's going to be overly concerning as in some of the smaller cars that you get. As we head to the back seat, and I'll kind of hop in here, there is plenty of leg room. I will say it for this car, there's not a lot of the fancy features back here, your own air vents, seat control, but this car is $30,000. It's not meant for that. It's meant to get great fuel economy, towed around 5 people, you know, 5 smaller people if you're sticking kids in the back. But overall, really liked it. Does have nice leather. I wish I could describe it better, but the advice is go out and drive one of these. As always, that's what we always say. If you really want to get a feel for these cars, you can watch as many reviews as you want, but make sure that you take these out for a spin. But onto the front, really is nice. It's your typical Subaru front. I do like the not the heads-up display, but the dash, the speedometer, and the odometer really looks nice. When you kind of start it up, which we can start it up here, you can see it lights up in a nice pretty blue color, as you can see right there. So it is nice in that sense of the word. All the other features on the inside are standard. You don't have dual climate control. It's an added option. Brightness, all your steering wheel controls are here. We'll show you here in a second. There is a kind of an information panel right here which details basically your hybrid system, a lot of your symmetrical all-wheel drive, if you're using power, if you're using battery, what you're using. Does have a touch screen on the interior. Really nice interior overall. You don't feel too crammed, you don't feel stuck inside here as you do on some of the other vehicles. But overall, really liked it. Really had a nice drive with this car. Had this car for a week and really enjoyed it. But with that being said, if you want to catch any of our other reviews, just find it in the sidebar here. If you're on our website, which is drive-radio.com, if you're on there, check out our new car reviews. We have well over 100 in there of different cars that we reviewed, video as well as text. If you're in the Denver area, catch us 10 to 1 every Saturday morning, 560 The Source. It's all the way left on the dial. If you're out of state, you can catch us on 560thesource.com or the TuneIn app. And then, as always, you can also watch us as doing our interview reviews. But if you have any questions, comments, let us know. I'd love to hear from you, and thanks.